Welcome to Game of Leadership, the podcast for curious leaders. I'm Paula Eddy Wilcox, and today is the third episode with our wonderful guest who is talking about the pivotal moments that make them the leader they are today. I really hope you enjoy the episode. I can't wait to find out what's in store. Welcome to this week's episode of Game of Leadership, the podcast for curious leaders. And we have our final episode with Karim Doukar, the Fresh Prince of Retail. Welcome back, Karim.
No, it's a pleasure to be here again, and I love our conversations. They're awesome.
Do you know what? I was just about to say, I am absolutely chatting to you. It's been a real privilege over this last few weeks, and I'm really honoured that you've even turned up for your last episode, so it can't have been that bad for you either, which is always good.
Not at all.
Fantastic. Well, look, we have got some great stuff to dig into today. And this is the episode where we chat about the pivotal moments for our guests and Karim today, in this case, that have really made them who they are today. So without further ado, Karim, what are your pivotal moments that make you the fantastic leader you are today?
Yeah, I think there's a couple. There's one that I learned about servant leadership. I'd never heard of servant leadership before in my life. I went to work in Saudi and worked with a really inspiring leader who kind of told me what the servant leadership was, what the characteristics of servant leadership are, and kind of how to lead by example. And it kind of resonated with me. I was thinking, that's all I want to do. My whole life is be a servant leader now, because I actually love the theory and love how it's about you and your team and working for your team, and not your team working for you, but you working for them. So that's the pivotal moment. And then the second one was really about, and it was a much harder moment, the second one, where was that I've been in retail for a long time, and I'm quite loyal with the brands. I work with Selfridges, Harrods, Harvey Nichols, and all this. And I'm kind of one of these people that when I join a company, I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve. I really look up the values of the company and think, is this somewhere that I want to progress? Does it link in with excellence? Can I work here for 25 years? Kind of that kind of guy, kind of super cool, but super serious at the same time. I guess I had that thing with my wife as well. When I started dating my wife and stuff, it was kind of like, this could be the woman. Like, I have to treat her with the utmost respect from day one. We could get married. I don't know why I've gone off on that tangent, but yes. And I'd worked for this company first.
Because it's a part of you, Karim. It's who you are. You look at things and you're very respectful. It comes across, and it's lovely to hear. So I just wanted to say that. So carry on.
Yeah. Thanks for that. So yeah, and I'd been in. Obviously, by the time I got to Aldo, I'd been around the retail block. House of Fraser, Harvey Nichols, Selfridges, and I kind of had to get humble a little bit. I remember when I started, I kind of said that I know retail, but I don't know Aldo. And I remember one of my a couple of moments, one of my managers said to me, it'll take 3 years for you to become an amazing store manager. And I remember at the time thinking, 3 years, like, we sell shoes. The shop is 100 square meters or whatever it was. How difficult can it be? I worked in Selfridges, I worked in Harrods, I've run big stores kind of thing. But how wrong was I? And learning the business from scratch. And, he was totally right about what he said about the 3 years. And I think these days, a lot of people, and I experience this within coaching as well, they'll read something for over a weekend. They might read a book and speed read it and kind of think, oh, I'm a coach now, I can go off and stuff. And I think what I've learned is that to master something, you do need that time. You do need that reflection. You do need a lot of practice. And, I've studied neuroscience as well. And the concept of, perfect practice is also really, really important. So I think that was definitely a defining moment for me.
Yeah, it's so lovely to hear you talking about that realization that, yeah, it is that pivotal moment. You went in as somebody who was like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, to suddenly realizing, well, yes, maybe I do know what I'm doing in retail, but I don't know what that looks like at Aldo. And then
Yeah.
having the awareness, we talked about this in a previous episode, that awareness to step back and get and sort of say to yourself, okay, so what am I going to learn here? How am I going to break this down? And, you know, having, it sounds like you had a bit of a great mentor in the person that gave you the advice in the first place, in terms of
Yeah,
sort of take you 3 years. You
yeah.
know, it's incredible what opening your mind and saying, okay, I'm not, and saying that I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm not the expert here, not in Aldo. And being open to that learning process, and getting the right support in place as well, of course, is key, as we know.
For
To
sure, and having
transform.
that passion and having that openness to learn and seek feedback. I think feedback is such a gift that you have to really know how to take. Before I started working in Aldo, I used to think that I was really good at taking feedback, and I actually realized that I wasn't, and I'd get really defensive, and kind of I had to learn how to become a senior leader, if you like. I was kind of, you know, someone I get store visits, for example, and you know the leaders would come in and they'd always aim for perfection. So my regional manager and my sales director would always come in and they'd always be like, I don't know, you're hearing your sales, but like there's a light bulb missing up there, and I'd be like, seriously, like is that all you can pick on, the light bulb? But then they kind of made me think that, yeah, you know, have super high standards of, you know, sometimes for whatever reason and reasons within our, you know, that are not in our control. But if you have those high standards and you aim for that, you know, perfection or excellence every single day, then you are going to start to see things differently, and it does make the performance go high. And actually, this is what was really, you know, cool about what my manager and, you know, my regional manager told me. After 3 years, I did become manager of the year, and it took me 3 years to do it. And I'm like, did he have an invisible wand, or how did he know it took 3 years to kind of get? But he just knew the business much better than me. He knew the shoe business a lot better than me. He knew what was involved in the role and all that kind of stuff. And as my career continued with Aldo, I kept getting harder and deeper feedback. And this is the one pivotal moment in my whole career. Fortunately, you know, I again, because of the great teams that I worked in, and it was more about the team than it was me. But I'd won Manager of the Year in 2010, and this was after working for them for 3 years. And after that point, I kind of got a little bit complacent, and I was kind of working in the store in Manchester and, you know, in the Trafford Centre, and I was kind of like, almost like I'm king of the north, almost like I'm doing a regional manager job. Even though I don't have the title, and, you know, I recruited other store managers and stuff. And I had a really hard visit from a GM who I love so much. And if he didn't have this conversation with me, I definitely wouldn't be the person I am today. And he was kind of, I turned down major roles in London, like bigger stores. But for me, it was kind of like, why do I need to move to a bigger store? Like, you know, if I want to get promoted, I want to be a regional manager. I don't want to move to a bigger store. And I'd kind of got this, you know, mental block, and also, you know, I'd also coincidentally had 3 babies along the way. So every time they came to me, I'm having
just small pivotal moments along the way.
I'm just having some small pivotal beautiful girls, and, you know, every 3 years, like, I'm having another baby, and they're like, Karim, seriously? And then anyway, one of the GM came, and he kind of came in quite an aggressive manner, and for me, that was really kind of, it was hard to take as someone who gives 110%. You know, I'm really proud of my store and the team and breaking records and all that kind of stuff. And he really kind of almost got me. He didn't do this physically, but kind of, it was like almost physically doing it. Came into the store and kind of was like quite aggressive and assertive in terms of, Karim, you know, life is a piece of paper. And he got out an A4 piece of paper and said to me, you want to kind of develop to here, But like, you know, you're stuck in your comfort zone in this A4 piece of paper. And that really had a profound effect on me, and it kind of said to me, like, you know, he even went as far as saying, like, you need to change, otherwise we're going to change you. Like, you know, you need to open your mindset and you need to start to think differently. And, you know, at the time, it was really hard hitting. And I remember an assistant manager who was working with me at the time kind of just said, oh, that, you know, that's bullying or that's intimidation and stuff. And I was like, you know, I went home and I slept on it and stuff and spoke to my partner, and my partner was just like, you know what? He's just telling you the truth. You have become super comfortable. You are in your comfort zone. You do think you are the king of the north, and you know that someone's just gonna, the company owe you, you know, regional manager or whatever it may be, and you do need to start getting back on it and being that Karim before, who was like, you know, wanted to be number one and guide people. And really, it's not about Karim being the hero.
No.
It's about the team and you developing the team so that everyone was, you know, can maximize what they can. And that was really a wake-up call, especially for someone who's been involved in training from, you know, a long time and stuff. And I was kind of like, wow, I have become blinkered. I have become very Karim centric, and it is a little bit all about me. And that's so anti the person that I am and have always been. But I kind of had that wake up call. And over the next 2 years, what I did do was literally nothing but training, nothing but gamification, nothing about apart from having fun with my team. And we had so much success. And we won like something called, you know, the manager of the year was won twice in a row. And we won Club Elite, which was this top thing. And then I got promoted, and everyone in the store, there was a number of people in the store who got promoted as well. So it was the greatest time in my life. But I remember at that one day when I had that hard hitting feedback, it was really difficult to take, because I don't know, like I was kind of like, it was almost like, what more do you want from me? Do you want my blood? Like, I've broken the records, I've recruited other managers, like what kind of thing. But to this day, I'm so indebted to that general manager for the love, affection, compassion, and for them to give me those pep talks. You know, these days I kind of feel that, it sounds a bit horrible, people don't care. You know, I go into stores and I think there's a distinctive lack of personality and care and customer service. But this manager, those pep talks were so powerful, and so for the right reason. And it was almost like before I was kind of going through the motions, and yes, I was doing the appraisal and stuff, but it was almost like a tick box exercise. Whereas now it's kind of, you know, I'd spend quality time with people and say, okay, this hour, or, you know, on a monthly basis or even on a weekly basis moving forward, is about you. What can I do to support you in your development in this company? And I feel that's like how the whole retail world, how the whole corporate world should work, in terms of it's a win-win-win situation. Sorry, I've been talking a lot.
No, not at all. It's fascinating, and you know, it's lovely to hear what an impact that has made on you. Just that 5 minutes of your life with that general manager changed it for you, and what a significant impact in a positive way that it had. You then went on to win, you know, manager of the year team, and then resulted in yours and some of their promotions as well. And I always look at feedback as a gift, as long as it's delivered with positive intent. You know, no unkindness here, please. You know, no sort of undermining or judgmental, just positive, constructive feedback that's going to help somebody to grow and develop moving forward. And it really is a gift. People don't
it was very honest and hard hitting, actually. And I remember at the time I was kind of like, I got really defensive, and I was kind of like, you're not going to make me cry, kind of thing. And I actually remember saying to them, you're not going to break me, you're not going to make me cry. But that's exactly what I needed at the time. and I almost needed to be hit on the head with a pan. Like, Karim, wake up. Like,
this isn't a cartoon, Karim.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, yeah, just, wake up, shake up, smell the coffee, change your behaviors, not change you, change your behaviors. And that resulted, I missed the regional manager level out then, and I became country manager of, 132 stores, 4 countries. It was like mind-blowing what actually happened to me. And again, it was about, the amazingness of the corporate, and, how it was, international, and the leadership style, I guess, that there was for the people, which was so profound.
That's incredible. And what a leap from store manager to country manager. That's really impressive. And I think, anyone listening to this that's in any doubt what a change in behavior, a mindset shift, whatever you want to call it, making sure you are open to learning, you adopt that growth mindset, as we call it as coaches, and you welcome in the advice, mentorship, also that coaching from others, because we know a lot of this stuff in ourselves, we just need help in bringing it out. But also, when we're looking to grow and do better, surrounding ourselves with the right types of mentors who can show you, they're already where you want to be, or they've been through where you want to be. Those types of mentors are absolute gold, and that feedback that you receive along the way is gold dust. It may be hurtful at the time, and that's a whole nother conversation we can have on another day, Karim, about how to give feedback well and not give feedback well. But it's just mind-blowing what it can achieve.
I remember that the general manager actually said to me, go and spend I've not mentioned this so far, but he said to me, just go and spend, and this was like out of the box thinking. He said to me, I want you to pick a week next month that you can go and move to London for a week and work in our flagship store just for 1 week. And then I want you to do a report on your experiences, obviously, of the store, and, where the store can improve, and SWOT analysis and all that. But like how that's made you think differently. And I'm thinking that was revolutionary. That is like next level leadership, and it just really made me think. He said to me, in a different store you're a different person, in a different environment you're a different leader, because you need to be. And that, I'll never forget those words, or that whole thing for the rest of my life and career, and hopefully want to inspire and share that story with others.
Yeah, what a great opportunity he gifted you there as well, to be able to go and see how it was done elsewhere, if you like, and the fact that you were able to adapt to your situation. But I just want to pick up on something that you shared in the story there, Karim, about how you you chatted with your partner, you reflected. There's so many people that don't know how to reflect, I suppose, is a way of putting it, or don't take time to reflect. Okay, so we are we're busy, we're from one meeting to the next, we haven't got time to reflect on what just happened, never mind think about what's coming in the next meeting. What advice would you give somebody who would like to build time in, or like to learn how to reflect? What would you say?
I think do what you love outside of work and what makes you happy. And obviously I've studied quite a lot of neuroscience, but there's a thing in the reflection. They say sleep on a problem, and sleep on a problem doesn't mean that the actual sleep itself is going to come up with the solution. But because you're allowing yourself to relax, sometimes, I've just been on holiday for a week, and sometimes because you're kind of go, it's busy world, like as you've mentioned before, but sometimes you sat on a beach and a problem that you've been thinking about, consciously, maybe like for the last 4 weeks, you're on a beach and you chilled out and you're kind of in a really calm environment. Suddenly you get like a snap, like something happens, and you kind of think, actually, this is the way forward. And I think it's that reflection piece. So my advice would be to, let yourself enjoy whatever it is you enjoy. Like when I have hard days at work, I'm a very family kind of guy, and I'll go in and I'll play with my 4 Barbies, my daughters and stuff. And or I'll go and, sometimes I've got that male testosterone. I'll go and kick a ball hard, or I'll go on the run, or I'll go to the gym, or I'll go to swim and stuff. And I think over the years, what I've really learned to do is to reflect, no matter what's happened throughout the day, just to really be calm and to really reflect in a positive way, even if it's a negative thing. And I think, even with coaching, it's kind of, we've got choices in life. We can't sometimes control things. Say you drive in, I don't know, someone cuts you up on the road and stuff. You can't kind of control other people's behavior, but what you can control is your response. And I think to this day, the thing that I did really do well in that difficult conversation was I was professional and calm, and I really listened, and I did take the time to pause and think, why is my GM and sales director telling me this? And it was genuinely because they wanted to see me do well. And I think deep down, most people in life do want you to see you succeed.
Yeah.
And just, take the time to reflect, to pause, to stop, to think. It's really critical for your mental well-being, and, to make sure that your goals are put into place and redirect. Coaching's all and training's all about from A to B. I guess sometimes A to B, what you don't realize is you might have to go A plus, A minus. You might have to go sideways, up, down, left, right, all that kind of stuff. But if you take the time to reflect, you will see that some hard-hitting feedback is really there out of love. And I think, my wife, I do a lot of kind of public speaking and stuff. My wife she'll I might not pick my nose, but like, put my hand near my nose or pick my ear, and she'll be like, just be conscious that you've got this thing where you touch your ear or something. And I love that, because I'm kind of thinking she really cares. She's really seeing things that I do naturally that I'm not conscious of. That's why feedback is such a good gift.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about the neuroscience there a little bit, but whilst I'm not an expert in NLP or any other neuroscience, I will just say that I often talk about being quite amazing, because, as you rightly said, when we give ourselves downtime, so let's say you're in a 2-day workshop, I'll finish workshop 1 and just say, let day 1 percolate in your minds overnight. We've got incredible brains. See what pops up for you tomorrow morning before you come and join us for day 2, And so many people come in the next day and say, God, I wasn't even thinking about it. And then this came into my head.
Don't get me started on neuroplasticity and the brain you're born with is not the brain you die with. Like that for me, that's another debate. But I totally love it. Sometimes you can have like a narrow mind, can't you? Like, if you have a fixed mindset, like I'm not good at maths and that kind of stuff, and you can kind of tell yourself things that are really quite negative and damaging. Whereas if you look at it differently and think, well, actually, I can be good at this. I can do it. I'm not good at maths yet. And then the world changes.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Karim. You're definitely preaching to converted there. We are on the same page, as they say. But oh my goodness me, what fascinating stuff. There's been so much that we've talked about over the last 3 episodes with you. It's been so much fun to chat to you and find out really a bit more about what makes you tick, some of your leadership story, and sharing your very vulnerable, pivotal moments here today, in terms of the feedback received and the big change that made for you. So thank you so much for showing up for you, for me, and for our listeners. It's been a real pleasure. And thank you very much.
It's been totally awesome, and I'm totally privileged to be here and to share in this. And listening, I've listened to all your previous ones and the ones going forward. Let's see what the rest of the world's got to say on game of leadership.
Absolutely. I'm sure we haven't exhausted them all yet. I'm pretty sure everyone's got a slightly different take. On that note, Karim, thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll catch up again soon. It's been really great to get to know you a bit better.
Thanks, Paula. Take care.
You too. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to Game of Leadership, the podcast for curious leaders. This has been the third episode and final episode for a little while anyway, with our guest, who shared their pivotal moments that make them the leader they are today. Again, I talk about uniqueness a lot. Every guest story and their pivotal moments, the challenges they faced, the issues they faced over the years to get to where they are now, and how they pulled themselves through all of that, makes them the leader they are today, and each one of those stories is unique and different. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with them and see what that meant for them. Now, once again, it's your turn to reflect on what you've heard today, see what resonates for you, and think about what that might mean for your leadership moving forwards. I'm Paula Eddie Wilcox, and I look forward to welcoming you back next time on Game of Leadership, the podcast for curious leaders. Bye for now.